Hi guys, welcome back. All right, so Taurians, let's go ahead and take a little peek here at a Valentine's Day message. So, what do we have, Taurus? We start out with a Knight of Cups, the Empress, and the Knight of Swords. Okay, Taurus could have a very changeable, sudden twist coming in. Look, somebody envisions having a very wonderful date with Taurus. This could be someone that Taurus has not identified. You notice how the Empress, which would be Libra Taurus energy, is holding that world right in front of her face, so could not necessarily see nor predict that we have somebody rushing in. This could be a last minute, like kind of somebody wants to ask Taurus out on a date. I don't think that it's because Taurus is some afterthought, not at all. Death card. It feels like they had to suddenly have the surge of courage. Something changes. What is it that's changing here? They've been thinking about this for a long time. Okay, Ten of Swords, Nine of Pentacles. They could be somebody who had, it's not just about working up courage, but it could be Taurus's own energy where Taurus finally sees themselves as, you know what, damn it, I'm single. I'm changing my flow. I'm changing my energy. I see myself as available. I don't want to think anymore. It's time. It's time that I see myself as single and ready to mingle. And, it may not even be that Taurus is like, come on, somebody ask me out all of a sudden. It could just be that Taurus hasn't really viewed themselves in their own mind as somebody that was available. Maybe Taurus for a really long time was still dealing with the aftermath of an ending, and Taurus might right about now be changing that mindset. We have to see ourselves as single before we project that outward. You know, we all, I think it's fair to say that when you meet somebody that is happily married, there is just an energy about them where you can tell they're not seeking other attention, right? So they interact with people, but it's not with this, ooh, my interest is piqued, let me try a flirtation, let me find language to discover, are you single or not? Because they're happily married, right? Meanwhile, when somebody comes across as single and ready to mingle, that is when the behavior is subtle but a notable difference. I mean, let's say we see it in the animal kingdom. In the animal kingdom, we see animals. We see animals doing their mating dance in the animal kingdom. That might be something that Taurus is going to be displaying in their own unique way. They'll do their mating dance. They'll show their interest in someone. They will be displaying the fact that I am single. We have a Four of Pentacles, and that is sideways. So I'm going to say that there is some kind of energy of like, okay, once upon a time, I would not necessarily have, interacted this way. I would have been more withdrawn. If somebody was trying to show me attention, I might have even ignored it or dismissed it. Whereas if I'm going to put myself in the mindset that no, I'm single, I'm attractive, now I'm actually going to be wondering, I wonder if that person is trying to flirt with me or not. Let me test the waters a bit by interacting with them. I think Taurus is going to be subconsciously giving the green light to somebody, and they are picking up on that change in Taurus. This is not somebody changing their mind and saying like, oh, I'm recently single, I don't want to be alone Valentine's Day, let me call up some rando, hey, Taurus looks kind of hot. That's not what this is. This is somebody who thought about, I wonder what it would be like to date that Taurus. I wonder what that'd be like to have a date with that Taurus. But Taurus has not noticed me, has not given me the green light, has not, taken down that blockage that they've been holding up to their face and made eye contact with me. And the second Taurus does, this person is going to be all about Taurus. This storyline says Taurus has needed to make the change in the way they perceive themselves. And that also is this gentle reminder. In fact, let's turn to the universe now and say, universe, what do you want to say to Taurus? Because I think Taurus has to be able to look at themselves as a very attractive person, Six of Cups, and the card of Hope sideways. It is hard for us to see ourselves as a desirable mate if we are like unable to consider that somebody would see us that way. So we have to see ourselves that way first and know that there are soulmates that want to connect to us. But first, we have to have a hope that there is a soulmate out there. So Taurus had to first, shed an old hurt or pain. They honestly, I think this is a Taurus who knew some pretty painful ending. And now that that ending is officially done and they're letting it go and they're re-emerging in their own mind as I'm single and I could picture me loving somebody else. In fact, I hope that I will. That positive energy coupled with I see myself as single, I see myself as, available and possibly like wanting to interact. That's going to be how Taurus like reels in people that have already been trying to capture Taurus's attention, but Taurus was blocking them, was ignoring them. This is Taurus now, making that eye contact, smiling, letting somebody know. I don't know why, but I feel like I said this in some other earlier video too. I'm wondering if, because I'm picturing somebody who's like doing like they're looking in the rear view mirror or something to see if Taurus is looking their way. I don't know if it's more like a metaphor or if it's, we see Taurus kind of looking back over their shoulder. I mean, hopefully nobody's distracted while they're driving, but it could be somebody's like pulling out of a parking space and Taurus walked by and there was an eye contact and then Taurus looks back again and the driver was like, I was hoping that Taurus would look back. I was hoping there would be a second dose of eye contact. There is a Seven of Swords sideways here, meaning there's still a little bit of like play in like, am I being honest? Am I letting somebody know I'm interested and acknowledging that they're interested in me? Or am I going to lie to myself and be like, I kind of want somebody, but I don't think there's anybody around? Taurus, that's not true. There is somebody around there for Taurus. It is somebody different. It is somebody new. It is a soulmate that Taurus has not tangled with. I mean, I guess maybe I shouldn't say that. Soulmates can be people that we've already known. The Star, this could be somebody at a distance. Okay, there could be a situation where Taurus has recently, or maybe not even recently, but has finally like really ended a previous connection. And at this point, they're seeing themselves as single. And that is going to change the dynamics. But it could be that Taurus actually has to do a little bit of the reaching out. Like if somebody is at a distance from Taurus in particular, Taurus might send a message to somebody like low key, somebody that they kind of thought was attractive. Okay, it could be an ex. It could be somebody that Taurus has thought about now that they are single and free again. And there could be somebody that they want to, test the waters with again. Somebody from there. Maybe that's why I'm picturing the rear view mirror. Maybe this is somebody that Taurus is like, I've ended things with this one person, but there was this other soulmate that I knew a long time ago. Honestly, somebody was such a great person. And I wonder how they are. This says they have been wondering the exact same thing. This is somebody who would like, if Taurus were going to give them an ounce of time, this person will, race to snatch that opportunity to connect with Taurus again, is what it says. Let me ask this. Character, would you, and we'll call them the Knight of Cups, would you have reached out to Taurus? Knight of Swords. It's so crazy because this is the second time we've seen him as the Knight of Swords as well. We've seen him as Knight of Cups, Knight of Swords times 2. I would say this. They have possibly even attempted to reach out to Taurus before, but Taurus didn't respond, didn't react. And they could have felt really embarrassed. Like, I shouldn't have done that. Taurus is not interested in me. This could be somebody who like reached out with just a pleasantry or something very minimal. And Taurus didn't respond because Taurus was still reeling from some other ending in their life. And they hadn't yet fully felt single again. This person feels like there's somebody at a distance and somebody possibly from a long time ago that has always kind of maybe wanted a second chance with Taurus, but Taurus wasn't having any of it for a period of time. Now Taurus is kind of reaching out to them, possibly around this, or certainly thinking about this person around this Valentine's Day. 10 of Wands. Look, time has passed. They too are in a place where I'm almost thinking this is somebody that Taurus knew when they were both like in their 20s, and now, life has occurred and they went in different directions, and maybe Taurus is in their 50s, 40s, somewhere in there, but it feels like they're no longer shy about the fact that once upon a time they reached out to Taurus when Taurus didn't really react to them. They don't feel the same level of like embarrassment. They kind of got over that. Page of Cups. In fact, if Taurus does reach out, not only will they probably be very quick on the pickup, but they will probably be somebody who's like, oh man, it's so great to hear from you. Like they probably will be very straightforward about even, I always carried a torch for you. What are you doing for Valentine's Day? Like it feels as if this is somebody who would not play any games. This is somebody who, if Taurus wants to give them the time of day, this person's not playing. I don't even think that they would hold back at all in saying, Taurus, I always had a thing for you. Always. I didn't know if you really had a thing for me, but the way I felt about you, that never went away. This feels like somebody who has basically waited in the wings, or, they've lived their life, but the truth of it is they have always had an emotional bond to Taurus. And I think it's always been, not to, cast shame or anything or blame on Taurus, but it was Taurus who blocked this person because Taurus went admittedly in a different direction in life, had other things, had other relationships, maybe even married, is now divorced, had to, cope with the ending of that before Taurus comes back around to this person that they knew many, many years ago. That person's feelings have never changed for Taurus. That person from so long ago, I don't know if they worked as like EMS or firefighter or, because it keeps feeling like Taurus knew this person in their 20s, knew this person at some point. Maybe it was like high school sweethearts or something, but that love story has always been there. And I think for Taurus too, Taurus cares about this person, always did. But for a period of time, it was not a season to be with this person. It was a season where Taurus moved on, maybe married somebody, life happened. And now as Taurus is basically kind of like, this feels like a Taurus who is reclaiming a youthful, like, I feel single again. I feel this vitality restoring in my life. And I actually, of course, because I feel youthful again, I feel like a lot of the stress that I carried for a long time is off my shoulders. My mentality and energy level is similar to that I was in back when I knew this person. This person could be certainly a Gemini, maybe an Aquarius, maybe Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, since we did see them as a Knight of Swords twice. But I gotta say, they have always held Taurus in a very special place in their hearts. Like truly have loved Taurus always. They're going to be thrilled to hear from Taurus if Taurus is reaching out to them. 3 of Pentacles. And I think they're going to be very transparent that they have always hoped that they would get a chance to like connect to Taurus. They may freely say, and I kept tabs on you throughout the years, would check in sometimes just to see, what your life was looking like, who you were, I saw you married, I saw you were, building something with somebody else. And, I always wanted the best for you. 6 of Swords, 2 of Wands. But I also think they're going to be really blunt about, but I also hoped if it didn't work out, if you ever moved on, then maybe we'd be back at this point in time where there's you have a chance to choose somebody different. I mean, I don't think this person wants to contend with, hey, are you still in love with somebody else? I think they do want to establish pretty quickly, look, Taurus, I've always had a thing for you. I watched you move on and I was happy for you. But if you're not moving on with that person anymore, are you done with them? Are you trying to make a new decision here? I don't think they want their heart played with, but I also don't think that they're messing about. Oh my gosh, Taurus, this feels like such an amazingly like stable person. It feels like maybe it wasn't the right time for Taurus and this person in the past, but it didn't change the fact that this was a true soulmate. Taurus had good times and they had good times with Taurus. I don't think anybody lied to each other, hurt each other, tried to damage one another. And I think that's why this genuine connection still exists should Taurus want to tap into it. Five of Pentacles. This could open up all kinds of feels. Taurus might be saying, like, honestly, I'm realizing I've been really hungry for, something that feels, I don't know, that I've been looking for something for a long time that feels like somebody who knows me, that feels like I've wanted to have a do over. Maybe Taurus even feels like I tried some things in life, but I didn't find what I was looking for. And I feel really lucky that I'm at a new starting point again. This is a Taurus who could have a do over with somebody that they really want to have a do over with. This is Taurus feeling like it's a second youth. Chariot. And Taurus is full-fledged going to go after whatever it is they want. That's probably why in this storyline it looks like Taurus is the one reaching out. Now, of course, the story could be flipped completely. This entire time that I've been talking about Taurus, it could be them. And it could be Taurus who's like, look, I've always loved you. Are you actually done with somebody else? Obviously we parted ways, you moved on in life. Now you're cycling back to me. Honestly, I've always, cared about you. It could be that we read the story the whole opposite way. But I'm thinking in this storyline that it's Taurus who can't stop thinking about somebody from their own past. And I feel like this is Taurus. Yeah, there's the Empress energy and that Hermit. There's our Taurus saying, I've had a lot of time to think about things. In fact, I've been single for a period of time as I was healing from some endings and making a confident decision about which direction I want to go. I'm not calling you up out of the blue just to keep me company for a little bit. I'm interested in seeing if there was something there between us to still explore. I think Taurus is flat out wanting to explore things with somebody from their past in a very sincere way. Somebody that was a good person, somebody that Taurus cared about. Let me just ask, what is their reaction to all of this going to be? Because you can tell they're still head over heels with Taurus. Their reaction is, then I want to slowly see where this goes. I want to start putting in energy. I want to build slowly. They are not racing and saying, yay, Taurus, let's instantly say that we're madly in love. Nine of Coins. They don't want to push Taurus to try to commit to them too fast either. With the Nine of Wands and the High Priestess, it could have been really hard for them to not have Taurus in their life. And they themselves might be like, I don't want to get my heart broken by Taurus, because it did kind of suck when Taurus didn't, maybe want me in the past, or it wasn't the right time for us. So they may need a little bit of, they certainly want to see if they can build with Taurus again, but they may need a little bit more reassurance from Taurus. And Taurus might pick up on that and be like, I can tell this person, they want me, but they kind of want me to make them feel safe. That could be Taurus's role in all this, the star. I think Taurus has always been so special in their eyes. And if Taurus didn't necessarily, stay with them in the past, this is an opportunity for Taurus to kind of let them know, actually, you're really special to me too. That's why you've stayed on my mind. You are a soulmate. I think this has great potential for this romance to go somewhere and be really powerful. But it's interesting that Taurus is in the role of like the person who's been wanting Taurus for a really long time and didn't know if they'd ever get this chance. But now, if there is a chance, it is Taurus who's kind of going to probably reassure them. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Bye.